This video was brought to you by Squarespace.
I just went through a big move, and moving is awful. It's awful. I don't even have my desk set up yet. Everything is a mess, and I don't have enough time to fix any of it. And because of all this, I cannot even tell you how thankful I am to have Squarespace. Creating my website, Arlo Recommends, was so easy. I built the whole thing from a template and had a slick looking site up and running in no time. And now whenever I need to make a change or create some content, it's just as quick and easy. Everything is intuitive, no coding or anything like that. And when I'm busy unpacking and have zero time to work, Squarespace is working for me. I just set all my posts to publish and post to social media automatically. If I ever need more, Squarespace offers lots of powerful extensions, and my favorite feature is the analytics, which let me keep track of how my site is doing. To try out Squarespace for yourself, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. Then when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/Arlo to save 10% off your first website or domain. And now for today's recommendation: packing and getting rid of stuff long before the truck arrives. We learned that lesson the hard way. We only just barely managed to fit the most important stuff in the U-Pack and had to get rid of a whole bunch of other stuff. It was a nightmare. Don't be like me. Thanks again to Squarespace, and now to do some more unpacking. Later. Wow! 2024 was always gonna be a bit of a strange year, or at least a very different year. At least it was always going to be, if it is true that the next Nintendo system, which as always I will refer to as Switch 2, was gonna come out this year. And up until now, we have had every reason to believe that the next system would come this year. Probably late in the year, probably the traditional console launch holiday season, November kind of thing. And of course, this wasn't only a guess. This is a lot of people all across the industry, a lot of different things lining up, manufacturing schedules and all that. Like, it just makes sense. And during a year where a console is gonna launch, you never know quite what to expect for the previous console and its releases. If Switch 2 was coming this year, then it would be reasonable to expect that the releases for the Switch would kind of slow down a little bit. And of course, we have seen this, as we've talked about many, many times. We're getting less and less like full, big, huge AAA games, more remakes, more remasters, more just kind of smaller projects. Makes sense. And usually we get a major Nintendo Direct in February, not every single year, but most normal years where nothing else is happening to disrupt the process. We get a February Direct. But a console launch that is a little disruptive, that kind of weirds out the schedule a little bit. So I always thought I would not be surprised if we didn't get a Direct in February this year. I just thought like it was perfectly reasonable to expect that they wouldn't. But as of right now, as I record this, it's possible we'll get like a Direct next week. However, there are a lot of rumors that it's gonna be a partner showcase. Just third-party games, no first-party Nintendo games, kind of like what they were doing in 2020. And whether we get a partner Direct and no regular Nintendo Direct, or we just get nothing at all, that goes along with my theory perfectly well, that if there was going to be a launch this year, that they just don't have enough games to show us. They don't have enough games to announce for the Switch because they're saving most of their games for the Switch 2, which would, you know, if this is going to be something of a breather year, a little bit of a slower year, then yeah, then that would make sense. That's why we haven't gotten a Nintendo Direct yet. You know, and if we've been getting February Directs pretty consistently, then oh, well, like, why not this year? You know what I'm saying? It goes along with what I've been saying. It goes along with the 2024 Switch 2 release theory. And like, definitely things will be announced for the Switch. You know, right now, it's Peach, it's Luigi's Mansion 2, it's Thousand Year Door. I'm sure other stuff will come up, but it could be they don't have enough for a Direct right now, or just not enough for as many Directs in the year. Maybe we don't get one in February, maybe we do get one in June. I don't know. Here is the thing, though. Here is the thing. There's another new Switch 2 rumor going around, and it's not a fun one. Many sources have all kind of come together to report that they are hearing the Switch 2 was gonna launch this year, but now it's not going to. Nintendo needs to delay it into early 2025. And it is yet another one of those rumors where it's not just one person saying something. It kind of got, like, the news kind of got broken by one person, but that one person had talked to a bunch of other people, and then a bunch of other people all chimed in all over the place, even developers and people who are saying they're working on Switch 2 games, and they're saying those games are releasing next year. They don't know if that necessarily means that it is, the system itself is releasing next year, but it does line up, and plenty of other people are saying, yes, indeed, they have heard the Switch 2 was coming this year. It's coming next year instead. For whatever reason, Nintendo just had to delay it. And we're getting this all at once, which to me really does seem like it's something that came up fairly recently. It could be that Nintendo only decided fairly recently to do this, because otherwise, like, you know, if you want to go the whole rumor mongering angle, there was no reason not to believe this year. We don't have any other reasons to believe that it's gonna get delayed into 2025. So I believe the rumors. It seems quite legit that just all of a sudden everyone is like, yeah, it's coming out early 2025. And whatever reason Nintendo has to delay the Switch 2 into 2025, it must be really important. Like, it must be really important to miss that holiday. The Switch didn't get to hit that first holiday. You know, they launched earlier in the year, which was okay. It was kind of a slow launch that led up to a really good first holiday, but like, come on, you put out your new system, you want it to be in the holiday. That's the most popular slot for a reason. So they must have had a really good reason. The rumor going around, but this one is very much more like unsubstantiated. I don't know how true it is or if someone just said it. But the idea is that they just wanted to make sure that their launch games were ready. And that, you know, it makes sense. I mean, it's technically even possible that they have one really big main launch game. Like, imagine a big new 3D Mario was like the game, but then, like, you know, games get delayed. They realize they need a little bit more time. And if that game needed more time, like, it seems a little crazy to think that they would delay the launch of the entire system, but like, if that was their game, if that was the game they were getting people to buy the Switch 2 on day one, I suppose that sort of makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. That's the rumor right now. Switch 2 delayed into early 2024. We don't know exactly when, but it stands to reason that it would launch around the same time that the Switch did. So early March, so that it fits in with like the whole fiscal year quarter kind of thing. So my first reaction to this is, come on, come on, come on, come on. Darn it. Darn it. Why? Darn it. I don't want this. I don't like this. This is bad. This is a bad rumor. Take it back, please. Say psych right now. No, so like, yeah, obviously it's disappointing. I've been putting all my eggs in the Switch 2 2024 basket. If this is true, what does this year's predictions video in December look like? I don't know. I was really just counting on it coming this year. I didn't want to wait too long. I don't want to wait any longer. I have been waiting patiently. I have been waiting somewhat I have been waiting. Full stop. But if we want to step away from the obvious disappointment of it, then now we gotta wait possibly over a year, whereas before, like this year, we start getting tidbits, we get the reveal, and then the release right at the end to be perfect. So if all of that is delayed, even beyond that, that makes this year, 2024, weirder than it was already probably gonna be. Like, it was a weird year, but man, this news right here, if this is true, then yeah, 2024 is a weird year. Like, even if it's gonna be a slow year, but like, if it's a slow year leading to a big release, that makes sense. I mean, you could have essentially nothing all year. It could actually just be Luigi's Mansion Peach and Thousand Year Door. It would be disappointing. It's a pretty barren schedule, but like, that would still be worth it. If we knew that at the finish line, new system, bunch of new games, absolutely. But a slow year with no really big payoff at the end, that's a lot harder to take, especially because the Switch it's still Nintendo's main thing, you know? And like, if there's no Switch 2 this Christmas, Nintendo is gonna want the Switch to be, it's essentially the Switch stepping in and being the big player in a year when it wasn't supposed to. The Switch has been center stage all this time. New player was supposed to come in, but now the Switch, they're understudying and they gotta step in for one more performance. But it's kind of complicated because if the Switch 2 comes out early 2025, then there is no doubt we will know about it by late this year. It will have been revealed. I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, the Switch itself, its whole like reveal and release was kind of fast-tracked. It went pretty quick, but even then, we knew about the console like 6 months or so before the actual launch. So come this Christmas time, if it's releasing in early 2025, like we're gonna know about it, and that could have an impact on the sales of the Switch itself. Of course, Nintendo could do things to kind of combat this, like lowering the price. Finally, maybe that could be kind of cool, like right before the Switch 2 generation starts. Hey, one more Christmas where Switch is the thing, we're cutting the prices, just trying to get like one big load of Switches out there one last time. That is possible. Or it is also technically possible that they don't mention the Switch 2 at all until the calendar year is done. If that happened, that would suggest to me that it was not coming early 2025, but more like mid 2025. Because again, you've got to have a certain amount of time between the reveal and the release. It's really hard for me to imagine a scenario where we get to the end of this calendar year and we don't at least know about the Switch 2. So yeah, again, there's a lot of pressure on the Switch, especially going into this holiday season. The holidays are really, really important, and Nintendo's gonna want something for people to play, but like, the Switch is center stage one last time, but now it's potentially not as well equipped as it should have been. Now, I have no doubt that Nintendo does have more to announce for Switch, probably even this year, even if it's not enough to fill multiple directs. I would not be surprised if there is a holiday Switch title, a relatively big one. I don't even know what it could be. I don't even have the brain power to try to theorize. But there could be at least one, let's just say there's like one good holiday title for the Switch they haven't revealed yet. Maybe they'll reveal it in June, or just on Twitter if there are no Nintendo Directs. I don't know. That's possible, and if that happens, then that will be good, and that'll put the Switch in a much better position this holiday. However, what if that title, if it was originally going to release this holiday anyway, what if it was like a cross-gen game or something? If it's a cross-gen game, then that puts the Switch in a very bad place, because Nintendo is not going to want to release it on Switch and then on the Switch 2 later. In the past, whenever they have cross-gen games, they want it to go out on the new hardware first, because they're trying to get as many people as possible to move to that hardware. They're not going to want to put it on the Switch and then put it on the Switch 2 like 4 months later. That's not how things work. So yeah, that could put the Switch in a weird position, and like, if this ends up being something of a breather year, then like, that's fine. It is what it is, but it will be interesting ending this year and also kind of ending the Switch's life, not with a bang, but a bit of a whimper, a bit of just like a strange scheduling weirdness, you know? So really at this point, it's just really hard to say what's gonna happen. It's really, really hard to say how much Nintendo has planned for the Switch itself, and if this is what's happening, if it was gonna be Switch 2, but it's delayed into next year, how could that affect things? They might have had to completely rethink all of their marketing plans. You know, like they might be right now rewriting Nintendo Directs, completely reshifting how all of these things are presented. I mean, these things are planned so far ahead in advance, and so much goes into a system's launch. I can't even imagine how difficult it must be to delay something like that. I mean, I know we're still early in the year. It's only February right now. It could be that it's early enough it's not a really big deal. But again, pushing out of the holiday season and into the next year, it just changes everything. It changes everything. And we really have no idea how it might affect this year. Because again, like Peach 1000 Year Door Luigi's Mansion, that's really not a lot. That's really super not a lot. They could announce more, but I don't know. I think it's pretty safe to say it's probably going to be a breather year. And you know what? It's obviously not too bad. Like, last year was really great. Next year, if the Switch 2 launches then that's gonna be a great year. So sure, we could stand to have a little bit more of a breather year. It's a little disappointing considering the momentum of the Switch has been so good. You want to just carry that momentum right into the next generation. And of course, by now, the Switch is in more hands than ever. It's perfectly poised to just whatever goes on it to just sell a whole bunch of copies. But whatever happens, happens. If I were them, I'd just start more remasters. Just do them. Yeah, anything else quick and easy you could do? Just do it. How fast can you get Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD done? Can you do that in like 7 or 8 months? If I can find a team to do that, boom, do it. Get it done. Doesn't even matter. Just get it out. Just put some more stuff on Switch. At the same time, that's the thing about like remakes and remasters and stuff happening at the end of the generation. You just have to hope that the next system is backwards compatible. Otherwise, it's like, oh, I wish that you had just waited for the next system because you put all these cool things on the Wii U and then they were trapped on the Wii U when the Switch came around. So whatever, getting too deep now. So that's the news. That's the rumor. Come on. Come on. Will that work one of these days? I'll just be like, come on. They'll be like, we're gonna delay this game. Come on. And they're like, oh, okay, we won't delay it. Be like, yay. Well, thank you for watching. Sound off down in the comments and all that good stuff. And if you'll excuse me, I got a basket to de-egg. I just got a ridiculous amount of eggs in this basket. I'm gonna spend the next couple months just digging them out.